Good evening, students and parents. Welcome to our first lesson on place value. Tonight we're going to be talking about standard, expanded, and word form. Make sure you have that notebook handy and your pencil, and don't forget to write down 2 examples as we go. I'm sure that this looks familiar. This is your standard place value chart. You can see that it is divided up into the ones period and the thousands period, and they are separated by a comma. Let's look at a number. We've got the number 654,321. You can see that I have 6 digits in this number, and I could call this number 600,000s, and I have 5 10,000s, 4 1,000s, 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 1 1. We'll talk more about this in an upcoming lesson, but for tonight, I just need you to know that I have different digits in each place value. This will be handy as we start talking about standard, expanded, and word form. Okay, as promised, here are those 3 forms. Standard form is the way that we usually see numbers. You can see right here, I have this number right here, 262,400. It's written with all digits. It's also important to note where this comma is, because as we read a number in standard form, we're going to pause there. So we'll say 262. I know that's in the thousands period, so I'm going to put my comma here, and I'm going to say 262,000. And then my next period is the ones period, and that's where I'm going to write my 400. So I will read this number as 262,000, 400. You could also write it in word form. And this is just writing it out using the number in word form. Pretty simple. So I would write 262,000, here's that comma, and then 400. And it's very important that you put the comma between the periods. Last but not least is expanded form. And this is just like splitting it up into all of the different pieces of its place. So I have 200,000 plus 60,000 plus 2,000 plus 400. I don't have anything in the tens or ones. I could write plus 0 tens plus 0 ones, but I don't need to. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. We're going to use place value to read and write some numbers. So if it's asking for it in standard form, you can look up here and you can see that's kind of how we normally write a number. They've given it to us in word form right here. So I see I have 92,000. Oh, there's that comma. So I'm going to say 92. I'm going to put my comma there. 170. Let's look at it. 92,170. Check. Now, we could write that also in expanded form. You can see I have a 9 up here in the 10,000. So I've got 90,000. You can also see that as a 9 plus I have 1, 2, 3, 4 places after it, and that's why I've had to fill that 9 in with 4 zeros after. Then I have 2 thousands. There's my 2, and you can see I still have 1, 2, 3 places to the right of that, so I have my 3 zeros. Plus I have 100 plus 70. Pretty easy, huh? Okay, what if they give it to you in standard form? We know this number, 200,000, oops, there's my comma, 7. So I can write that in word form as 200, just as I would say it, 1,000. Then I have to have my comma, and all that I have left is 7. Now, you've written it in standard form, you've written it in word form, and that third form is expanded form. So let's go ahead and try that. I see that they've already given me the 7, so what do I still need to add? Oh yeah, the 200,000. How'd you do? Okay, let's try a few more. Don't forget to be writing down some examples. This page might be a really good choice. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So we're going to read and write the numbers in two different forms. Let's look at this first example. They've given it to me in expanded form. I can tell that because of all those plus signs. So I could look at this and I could see 40,000 plus 1,000 plus 300 plus 70 plus 8. I can see I have 40,000s and 1,000. So for me, that's already saying 41,000. And then I have 300 plus 70 plus 8. Whoops, 378. If you're in doubt, don't forget you could go back to that place value chart that I showed at the beginning. You could think of this as the ones, the tens, hundreds. Here's your thousands, your 10,000s, and your 100,000s. And if I wasn't sure, I could see I have 40,000. That's a 4 here. 1,378. Yes, and the comma always goes between the periods. So that is the same thing. Now I also need to write this one in that other form, the word form. So let's look at this. It's kind of easy once it's in standard form. I can see that I have 41 in my thousands period, so I'm just going to write that. 41. Don't forget the comma. And then I have this period, so I can just write it out as 378, just like I would say it. 378. Okay, now this example, they've given it to me in word form. So I can change this into standard form very easily by just reading it and thinking about it. 27,615. Well, it tells me what to do. I've got 27,000, there's my comma, 615, and I know how to write 615. So far, so good. Now, what's the other form? Oh, yeah, expanded form. So this time I have 20,000 plus 7,000 plus 600 plus 10 plus 5. And we need to kind of work this all out. We don't want to say plus 15 at the end. Plus 10 plus 5 is true expanded form. Okay, here are two more examples. I want you to keep going, and I want you to write these numbers in two different forms. Go ahead and pause the video, write them down, and then come back and check and see if we agree. Okay, you're back. Let's see how you did. I know that if I have it in standard form like I do right here, that I need to put it in word form and expanded form. So I'm going to write it in words just like I would say this number in standard form. I look at that number and I say 239,000, so I wrote it. 239,000. There's that comma. And then I'd say 200, so I'll write 200. Now I can break it down in expanded form. I have 200,000 plus 30,000 plus 9,000 plus 200. How'd you do on that one? Okay. This example is given to me in word form, so I need to put it in standard form and expanded form. Again, if I can read it, I can write it. So let's look. 296,000, 296, there's my comma, 712, 712. Check. 296,712 right here in standard form. And now I just need to break it down into expanded form. 200,000 plus 90,000 plus 6,000 plus 700 plus 10 plus 2. I know you're getting this, but I need you to go now online and prove it to your teacher by going into the module and doing your quick check. Don't forget to make sure that you have two examples. We'll check in with you tomorrow, and if you have any questions, your teacher will be happy to go over this with you.